You are listening to Practical and Woo by Mindset and Manifest. My name is Eden, and I invite you to embark on a journey with me to explore the practical and spiritual edges of the unknown for the purpose of allowing you to embody and empower yourself uniquely as you are and to intentionally create and live a life of freedom and fulfillment. Each week, I am going to discuss topics such as energetics, reality creation, manifestation, astrology, tarot, and more to help empower you to live beyond perceived limitations and to practically design your life so it feels like absolute magic every step of the way. Let's dive in. Well, hello, brilliant soul. Today, I want to get practical with you and introduce you to two powerful frameworks that, when joined together, become a guiding compass for living a more creative, fulfilling, and masterful life. So often, when we learn things conceptually, the concepts become rooted in our heads, but when faced with an opportunity to practice, we freeze or react in ways that don't feel like our best selves. It's one thing to know something, and it's another to be seasoned and practiced at it. For me, my dominant stress response tends to be a freeze response. And so when I'm in a situation where I'm feeling uneasy, surprised, upset, or afraid, I often lose access to my mental faculties. As a fun side fact about me, this means that while I love the idea of things like trivia, the addition of immediate time pressure invites all of the facts I've ever learned to fly out of my head. If you want to have a conversation about subjects galore, then I'm your gal. And as soon as I'm put on the spot, my mind goes completely blank. I can tell you that this fun coping mechanism of mine makes it rather challenging when I'm trying to show up as my best self. And then suddenly I have no access to the beautiful, reasoned, ripened information that I've come to know, but not necessarily have yet embodied. So what do we do in a situation like this? For me, there are a number of mnemonic devices that I call upon in my daily life, one of which we've already explored all the way back in episode 38 called DARE, which I'll link for you in the show notes and description. For today's episode, I want to introduce you to two more life-changing mind tools that have really made such a huge difference for me regarding my relationship to both myself and the world. It's my hope that these two novel tools will make an impact for you and yours as well. Today, we'll be talking about the 4 agreements, which were introduced to Western culture by Don Miguel Ruiz, and the 4 agreements arrived to us from the wisdom of the Toltec tradition. And on top of this, I also want to discuss with you an acronym called THINK, THINK, the origins of which aren't quite clear. The big question I want to invite you to consider for today's episode is, how can we combine timeless wisdom with a simple day-to-day tool that helps us flourish creatively and respond to life with grace? I am incredibly excited to share with you how these two systems might help reframe your mindset, unleash your unique gifts, and nurture a deeper connection with your authentic self. So, let's dive in. If you've never acquainted yourself with the work of Don Miguel Ruiz, then I highly recommend that you do. And I'm now going to offer an overview of his infamous 4 agreements and what they entail. The 4 agreements include 1. Being impeccable with your word. 2. Not taking anything personally. 3. Not making assumptions. And 4. Always doing your best. These 4 simple tenets serve as a code of conduct that guide us in breaking the habit of self-limiting beliefs so that we can intentionally cultivate a more peaceful existence and nurture stronger connections with ourselves as well as others. Each agreement is grounded in profound ancient Toltec wisdom, yet remains highly relevant in our modern world. They invite us to pay very close attention to how we speak, interact, and show up in life. So how does this tie into think? Think is an acronym often used to check our words or actions before we express them externally. People commonly interpret think in various ways, but a typical and widely recognized version is this. The T stands for true. Is what I'm about to say true? H is for helpful. Is it helpful? I is inspiring. Is what I'm saying inspiring? N is for necessary. Is it necessary? K is for kind. Is it kind? For our conversation today, we're going to explore how think, combined with the 4 agreements, can serve to ground us in showing up in our highest integrity. Using think and the 4 agreements as daily check-ins can help create a supportive mental environment for the powerful insights of what we know and have learned so far about successful and intentional manifesting. Now, let's look at how each agreement can be interwoven with the think acronym to enhance both your inner and outer creative realms. This is not just about creativity in the sense of activities like painting or writing. This is about knowing how to harness the art of living, how to approach your relationships, your career, your self-talk, and how to interpret your experiences. In essence, it's about bringing an awareness that fosters creative solutions, encourages growth, and makes every moment a canvas for a more vibrant and fulfilling life. Starting off with the first agreement, to be impeccable with your word. According to Don Miguel Ruiz and the Toltec tradition, words are not simply sounds or written letters. They carry intention and energy and possibility. They are, in essence, magic spells, which is a topic unto itself that we've explored before on Practical and Woo. And when you're being impeccable with your word, you strive to communicate honestly, responsibly, and lovingly, both to others as well as within and to yourself. Imagine both your internal and external monologue, weaving a tapestry that either supports and uplifts you and those around you, or undermines you. What are the dominant things you're saying to yourself? What are the dominant things you're saying to or about others? What are the dominant things you're saying about your life, your relationship, or your job? What if the words you weave are solidifying your experience? In exploring that, consider the kind of experience you're wanting to have. Now, in pairing the think acronym with the agreement of being impeccable with your word, we arrive at a protocol that allows us to consider whether or not what we're about to say is aligned with the reality in which you're, and we're wanting to create. Are your words mirroring an exaggeration, a distortion, or a fear-based perspective? Often we can catch ourselves in half-truths or emotional overstatements. So by pausing to evaluate the words in which we're selecting, thinking, or buying into, we refine our communication, which is then experienced internally and reflected externally. In other words, you see playing out that which you're buying into, or more specifically, saying about yourself, others, and the world around you. So consider, is what you're saying true? Is what you're saying helpful? If the words you're about to express serve no helpful purpose, consider whether they're only meant as gossip or criticism. This doesn't mean you can't express or process negative emotions, thoughts, or feelings. It means your intent, your outcome, and your approach should aim to help to clarify or to create an understanding, rather than be for the purpose of condemning or belittling. Next, you can consider, is what you're saying inspiring? When you invite inspiration into your communication. You create an energetic ripple that can motivate you and those around you. Inspiration doesn't always mean a grand speech. It can simply be an expression of empathy, of hope, or of solidarity. Often, it's inspiring to speak with purity, authenticity, and integrity. So rather than focusing on the grandiosity of what you perceive inspiring to mean, here you are invited to show up authentically as yourself. Is what you're saying necessary? Sometimes we speak words just to fill the silence or to appear a certain way, which is also fully okay if you're intentionally selecting to engage with words in this way. And if what you say doesn't need to be said, if it doesn't add clarity or offer something meaningful, here's also a chance to pause and consider if it's worth saying at all. This is the point to consider your intentionality. In this context, necessity is a subjective thing, so there's no need to take this to the utmost degree. Simply consider why you're saying what you're saying, and even better, consider if it's a value add to a conversation. Consider if it adds laughter or playfulness, support, sincerity, or empathy. Consider if it's a fact that expands your world or the worlds of others. Lastly, is what you're saying kind? Kindness is the bedrock of compassion and is also the highest currency. If your words or thoughts aren't rooted in kindness, at least in intention, then they might be harmful to yourself or others. This doesn't mean ignoring honest feedback or constructive criticism, but instead delivering messages from a place of love and respect, ensuring that you're staying impeccable in your communication. Now, moving along to the second agreement, to not take anything personally. This agreement tells us that what others say or do is often a reflection of their personal experiences, their worldview, and their emotional landscape. When you take things personally, you allow yourself to suffer needlessly because you tie your sense of self-worth to the opinions and perceptions of others, living in this perpetual loop that has no end. I'm certain you've before experienced the effect of taking someone's criticism, rejection, or opinion personally. How did you feel? Did you let it slide off your back, or did you ruminate on it? Did it enhance your sense of self, or did it subtly diminish who you feel you are? So let's pause and use the THINK acronym here as well. Is it true? If someone criticizes you, pause and ask, is this critique a reflection of my personal failing, or could it stem from the other person's bias or mood? Is it absolutely true? Is it helpful? We can examine if another person's words are helpful to our growth. Even if the packaging is harsh, sometimes the feedback is helpful. If it isn't, you can set it aside knowing that you don't need to entertain or buy into the story. By focusing on that which genuinely helps you, permits you to guard against the internalizing of another's negativity. Is it inspiring? If you notice someone's remarks destroy your sense of self-worth, then that's a clear sign that it might not be inspiring or constructive. When we remind ourselves to look for inspiration in every encounter, we encourage ourselves to find the lesson or the pivot point without confusing our identity with the negativity that's being reflected. Is it necessary? Ask if this person's feedback or opinion is necessary for your journey. And you're asking yourself, is the subject matter from someone who's an expert at it? Is it coming from a trusted friend? Or is it someone who's earned a seat at your table of influence? If not, then it becomes easier to not take it personally. By evaluating necessity, you give yourself permission to release what isn't useful. Is it kind? If someone's words lack kindness, then this could be a signal that their negativity may be about their own internal struggle, because so often hurt people. Recognizing a lack of kindness helps you to see their words for what they are, an outpouring of their personal chaos or hurt, rather than an absolute truth. Don Miguel Ruiz's third agreement is don't make assumptions, which warns us about the dangers of storytelling in our own minds. The human brain has this incredibly unique capacity to frequently fill in gaps of understanding with guesswork or speculation. For instance, if someone doesn't return your call, you might automatically assume that they're ignoring you. If your boss sends a cryptic email, you might assume that you've done something wrong. These assumptions create often unnecessary conflict and suffering. When you make assumptions about your life, you limit your possibilities. Perhaps you assume that you can't learn a new skill, or you assume that you're not creative, so you never try new artistic or professional avenues. In relationships, assumptions can create barriers to intimacy and collaboration, hindering the creative synergy that often propels us forward in creating dynamic and meaningful relationship. So how does the THINK acronym apply here? Is what you're assuming true? If you're about to assume something, then pause. Ask yourself, is this assumption based on fact, or is it a story that I've invented? If so, you know you can let it go. Clarity of your assumptions can be the antidote for tangled illusions. Is your assumption helpful? Are your assumptions helping you understand a situation, or are they fueling anxiety, resentment, or confusion? If it's not helpful, why hold on to that assumption? Instead, opt to seek clarity and ask questions. Is your assumption inspiring? If your assumption doesn't encourage growth or deeper understanding, it's worth letting go. Use your imagination not to conjure worst-case scenarios, but to explore beneficial possibilities and solutions. Your imagination is equally as equipped to play in the positive as it is able to ruminate upon the negative. Is the assumption necessary? We often feel we need a story to fill in every gap. But do we really and truly need this? If you don't have the facts, it might be best to wait or to ask for more information rather than conjuring a narrative that could be incorrect or harmful. Is the assumption kind? Sometimes we make assumptions about people's motives, believing the worst. This is unkind not just to them, but to ourselves, because it fosters a world of fear and hostility. If we want to be kind, let's start by giving people the benefit of the doubt or seeking clarification. In doing so, we open a pathway to deeper empathy and connection. By refusing to make assumptions, we keep channels of communication open. We allow ourselves the space for curiosity and inquiry, which is the soil in which genuine creativity and manifestation prowess can bloom. Instead of wasting energy on invented dramas, we invest it in solutions and shared understanding. That's how assumptions can give way instead to collaboration and growth. For the fourth agreement, a remembrance to always do your best. A tenet that underscores the importance of giving your all under any circumstances, while simultaneously recognizing that your best can shift from day to day. Some days your best will be full of vitality and expansive thinking. Other days your best might be more limited if you're tired, unwell, or emotionally taxed. Regardless, the point is to embrace your wholehearted effort without self-judgment. So in what way can the THINK acronym help you do your best? Firstly, doing your best requires being truthful about your capabilities in any given moment. If you're exhausted, is it realistic to expect peak performance? Acknowledging the truth of where you are frees you to allocate your energy wisely and to also be proud of your effort, however big or small. Before you exert yourself, ask yourself, is what I'm doing helpful to my goals or well-being? Sometimes we push ourselves in directions that aren't aligned with our deeper aspirations or actual true or authentic needs, which then leads us to feeling burnt out. When you're aligned with inspiration, you tend to do your best more naturally. Inspiration stokes the fires of motivation and wonderment. Even mundane tasks can be approached with a sense of curiosity or devotion that elevates your performance. At the same time, doing your best doesn't mean doing everything. It means focusing your energy on what matters most, what's necessary for your well-being or your broader goals. Lastly, doing your best has to be accompanied by kindness toward yourself and a desire to show up as your best self with others. If you're pushing yourself in a way that is unkind, including self-flagellating with unrealistic expectations, self-criticism, or negative self-talk, then you're hindering your capacity to truly give your best. Kindness allows you to celebrate small victories and stay motivated over the long haul. Now that we've unpacked the 4 agreements through this lens of the THINK acronym, let's discuss some practical ways to integrate these into your daily life. Whether you're a student, a professional, an entrepreneur, an artist, or someone simply seeking to deepen your self-awareness. Beginning your day with a brief reflection on the 4 agreements gives you the ability to anchor into the remembrance of the combined tool. You could create a simple affirmation that reminds you of each agreement. Today, I will speak truth and love. I will not take things personally. I will seek clarity over assumptions. I will give my best with kindness. By setting this intention first thing in the morning, you prime your mind to operate from this positive framework. Instead of speaking on autopilot, challenge yourself to pause before responding to someone, especially in moments of stress or conflict. Ask yourself, am I adhering to the 4 agreements in this interaction? Am I embodying the principles of the THINK acronym? This pause can be as short as 1 single breath, but it can be enough to shift you from a reflexive to an intentional state of communication. At the end of the day, you might reflect on how well you practiced the 4 agreements. Did you notice any assumptions you made? Did you take anything personally? Did you maintain impeccable speech with yourself and others? Next, overlay the THINK acronym onto these reflections. Could I have been kinder here? Was that feedback necessary? Was it helpful? This journaling can support you in fostering self-awareness and identify areas for growth. As you embark on this path, celebrate your efforts and your small wins. Remember the 4th agreement, always do your best. Even if you slipped into an old pattern one day, your best that day may have been acknowledging it and resolving to do better next time. Honor your process. Living in your creative potential isn't about fulfilling some narrow definition of who you should be or what your life should look like. It's about claiming your birthright to explore, to imagine, to innovate, and to express your individuality in a way that's meaningful to you. When you liberate yourself from self-limiting beliefs and align your words, thoughts, and actions with clarity and kindness, then creativity naturally emerges. Whether in how you handle relationships, solve challenges at work, or create your reality. My hope is that this episode ignites a spark of curiosity and commitment within you. May you find renewed excitement in using your words to elevate yourself and others. May you let go of the weight of external judgment, clarify your perceptions through open dialogue, and honor your unique journey by always doing your best. May you gently remind yourself to act in alignment with truth, helpfulness, inspiration, necessity, and kindness. Until next time.